Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. Again, I'll be playing my Gren Maju deck like last time. And this duel is going to be different from the last one because me and my opponent are going to be going back and forth against each other. So you'll also be seeing some kind of a competitive outbreak between both sides. And who has the lead and then eventually retaliates in making a comeback. So this duel will definitely bring a lot of suspense. You just have to be sure to wait, watch, and look at the cards that we already have. So, because these are the cards that will make a difference in this entire duel. So, might as well stay calm, relax, enjoy, take your popcorn out, bring any beverage that you have hiding in your fridge, and just enjoy. So, and it's funny he claims I have Ash Blossom, which is I understand because that's like 90% of what the amount of the players use in their main deck. At least 2 or 3 copies, so I don't blame him for asking. He assumed that I have it, but at the same time, most players have right to believe that because they have the impression, because when you go first, that the first thing they'll do is Ash, then either later, or unless the card that they activate happens to be a very consistent card. So from here on out, he'll normal summon Unizombie, and he'll use his effect to discard 1 card from his hand and send 1 zombie monster from his deck to the graveyard. And if he does, he increase the level of a target by 1. And he's sending from deck. I'm waiting for some confirmation before he does to make sure if he can, so that he can continue the play. I'll let him confirm that he's good. And he'll activate Mizuki's effect, which he sent off of Unizombie's effect. So he's going to dish out some special summons. He's going to be able to use Gozuki's effect, allowing to send 1 zombie monster from his deck to the grave, which I assume is probably the Necroworld Banshee, which I guessed correctly. So, and then he'll link into Halki Fibrax, and then he'll be able to special summon a level 3 or lower tuner monster from his deck. It wouldn't really matter if it can't activate this effect, since he can just simply link climb. Or he can pretty much activate during my turn if it has a quick effect. And then he'll go into Link Rebo, which he actually cheated this part. I didn't even realize, but he actually cheated. It's even said you cannot activate the effects of the tuner monster that you special summon Lucky Fibrax effect. So it wouldn't be able to go off. But you know, I'll let him off the hook. So I'm already happy with the hand I already have so far. So might as well just let him link into whatever he's after. So just gonna fast forward here. And then it's my turn. I already have 6 cards in hand, and I already know what's gonna happen. He's gonna bring back his Doom King, Balladrock. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's a pretty long one. But the only confusing part of his name is the last one, the Balladrock or Balderdrock. That's where I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing. So, and then he'll use this Vampire Sucker's effect to special summon a monster or draw a card, since he special summon a zombie from his grave to the field. And this is still my main phase. Right now I'm going to have to activate Super Poly, so we'll be able to respond to its effect. I discard traded, and I'm able to go into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and then I'll use its effect to target, again it doesn't even really target, it actually gains the attack of the monster that I declared that my opponent controls that special summon. So I'll activate Lure Darkness to draw 2 cards. He claims Super Poly is unfair, but it's also situational too. I let him know that he's good. I use Triple Tactics Talent, and I'm able to draw 2, which is incredible. Then fast forward here. Obviously, most likely his response, he's gonna Solemn Judgment or Ash. My bad. So I won't be able to resolve its effect, but I still will be able to attack with Starving Venom. So he already has 2 Solemn Judgment, but would it be enough? No, it's not. So he'll use the same thing with Doom King, be able to special summon using its effect. So this is where I gotta be very smart. So now that he has the Doom King on the field, and he special summons Jackalope, so which he's gonna do right now, but I gotta pick the card, and I declared Jackalope. I'm even though it was I pretty much guessed it was Jackalope. I wasn't too sure, but because I felt that he would move from the left to the right. So I guess he would shift Jackalope from the left to the right, and that's when I decided I'm going to choose the right side. And then there I was correct. He special summons using Jackalope's effect, Nessie from his deck to the field, as you see here. So by picking Jackalope, he doesn't get the draw, but he also gets a special summon danger from his deck to the field, and he's good. And here he could pretty much be able to activate Doom King's effect, but I think it only works depending if you actually activate it on the field. Only when it activates on the field. I just want to be sure of that. Oh no, it's let me make sure. Well, a zombie can activate anywhere, but I'm guessing the hand does not apply. I don't know, but he could have been able to banish Starring Venom if he wanted, but he refused to. I let him know he's fine. I still have another talent in my hand. It's gonna be a pain though, to be real. I'll target Doom King, which I was hoping that he would do, and he'll negate. And then most likely, yeah, so he can banish. But then I'll use Gizmek's effect to banish 9. He still has another response. He could choose to banish my Gizmek. I'm surprised he didn't banish my Gizmek. I'm surprised he didn't. You'll find out eventually. But I'm surprised he didn't decide not to banish my Gizmek, because he'll give me full advantage. I'm guessing he wasn't too sure if I had Gren Maju in my hand, but he's just gonna banish Starving Venom instead. Because this could have really helped him a lot, because I wouldn't be able to manage to continue on with my special summons. He would be able to stop my special summons, because Gizmek can use his effect constantly as long as you have at least a deck, as long as you have more than 8 cards on the top of your deck. But then he's gonna pay half his life points, using triple tactics. He could Solemn Judgment my Gren Maju, which he's gonna do right now. And that's pretty much game. It's pretty much game, you guys. You'll see for sure. You'll find out why. He has nothing in his extra deck he can summon. It was just a bluff. He's dead. So overall, it was a tough duel. Although he didn't really do any damage to me at all, the Solemn Judgment really has killed him. And although it's not about whether he deals damage or not. It's how whether both players can go back and forth with each other, even if you don't deal damage, and it's how exciting the duel becomes. The more on edge the turns become, how the dueling amounts to who has the better cards, and what they do to make up for the the small advantage that they have. They could even if you have a small advantage, if you manage to draw a card that makes a huge difference in the game and it's a very powerful card, then definitely it could turn the tides. But that's where things get interesting, because even if you have the most cards on the field does not mean you have the upper hand. It could lead to whether your opponent draws lucky and they can change the tide of the duel, and you'll be surprised that it will, those type of kind of duels will eventually happen, because sometimes also also to the amount of life points that matters too, because the players these days, they try to build their board as much as possible. so that they feel comfortable with the field that's present, to make sure that if their opponent has less cards on their field in their hand, but sometimes they need to also take note that the graveyard is, they can make use of the graveyard, especially cards that can activate, and so that they need to be highly aware how the deck can be able to retaliate. So as well as not only being able to use your hand and field, but on top of being able to use your graveyard, can lead to so much like difficulty. So that's where things can be very confusing in a duel. Like, just because you have more cards to the field does not mean the chance of you winning 100%. The odds are you might lose, who knows. But it all depends on what your opponent draws, and you cannot predict that. Because guessing what cards, or assuming that you're going to win, and then they manage to be able to counter what you have remaining on the field, can lead to an upset win. It can definitely lead to an upsetting game. It can lead to an upset loss for the opponent because they felt that the field that they had contained so many cards that can be able to disrupt your opponent and can be able to stop the flow of what your opponent has, that might possibly be able to activate, whether it's in the hand, field, or graveyard, anywhere, to be honest. And then they can easily get triggered because, like, they put up all this effort in building such a strong field that they didn't take note that the opponent might have something up their sleeve that can be able to turn the duel around. And then they get really butthurt because they realize even though just having so many cards on the field just wasn't enough. And then they need to find ways to pretty much counter that card. And they go through all that stress into trying to find implications and realizing if there's a card that is really a problem for them, they'll try to find ways of trying to duplicate copies of the card that they need in order to counter that strategy. That one card that pulled an upset win for the opponent is to ensure that if they manage to pull that off again, that they need to find a way to have a counter strategy, and that it will be enough to ensure that they can avoid having that upset loss again. Also, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later feature. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.